You mentioned a couple of times what you described as the non-existent right of self-defence of Israel in the wake of those October 7 attacks. In your view, what action was Israel entitled to take after those attacks?
Yeah. Thank you, Tom. With your permission, I will clarify what is self-defense under international law, and so that everyone can understand, well, there is not such a thing that Israel could claim. So, in common language, self-defense might be understood as the right to protect oneself, which Israel clearly has. Israel has the sacrosanct right and duty to protect itself, its territory, its citizens. Although it tends to confuse a lot its own territory with the territory that it's trying to annex under occupation, and this is illegal. But however, Article 51 of the UN Charter that Israel has invoked is not just the right to protect itself. It's a self-defense under international law. It's a legal term of art and means the right to wage a war, which Israel doesn't have. And this is consolidated jurisprudence of the supreme judicial organ of the United Nations. I understand that the state practice might diverge, United States and Iraq, but the law remains the law, and this is what we should follow. So the right of self-defense can be invoked when a state is threatened by another state, which is not the case. Israel has not claimed that that has been threatened by another state. It's been threatened by an armed group. Qualify it the way you want, but it's an armed group within the occupied territory. And frankly, even saying the war between Gaza and Israel is wrong, because Gaza is not a standalone entity, it's part of the occupied territory. But so, in particular, Israel cannot claim the right of self-defense against a threat that emanates from the territory it occupies, from a territory that is kept under belligerent occupation. And this is not only this exists in the jurisprudence of the ICJ in general, it's also been said in the case of the occupied Palestinian territory. So, going back to your question now, what Israel was allowed to do? To act to reestablish law and order, to repel the attack, neutralize whomever was carrying out the attacks, and then proceed with law and order measures, meaning not waging a war, but with law enforcement measures.